Jesus in verse 27 says, my soul is troubled. I talked to you a little bit about this, why. He's troubled. He's deeply distressed. There's a riot going on inside with him. He is fully God, fully man. He is not impassible, which means he is not somebody who is separate and beyond emotion. He has been made just like you and me. The writer in Hebrews said that he's been tempted in every way as you and I have been, yet without sin. He knows what it's like to feel like the world is out of control and following the Father is crazy. Even though he exists in the form of God, he did not hold on to his eternal deity. He laid it aside so he could relate to you and me, and he walked by faith with the Father. And his flesh was constantly taunting him. The enemy was constantly pleading with him to reject God. The world said it's foolish to believe in a God you can't see and touch. And there was a riot. That's literally what the word means. Deeply distressed. It's like he said, my soul is just rebelling against submission to this hour. This ain't easy to give my life away. But you want to watch love go to work? You want to see what great men do? I was talking to my boy this week about this. I said, let me just tell you what makes a man different than a boy. A man disciplines himself. A man has the ability to say no to fleeting things, because others are relying upon him, counting on him, need him to provide and protect. And so he just doesn't run to folly. He just doesn't do what is pleasing to his flesh. He is like a warrior that disciplines himself and runs to the battle so that others might be safe. That's what men do. Where did I get that idea? I wasn't making that up, because I was describing Jesus to him. In my Bible, in the margin, I've got written stuff like this next to passages like this. When a man forgets himself, that's when he usually does something that everybody else remembers. The greatness of a man is determined not by how many men serve him, but by how many men he serves. And Jesus is saying, don't be like everybody else who works to bring comfort and power and prestige to themselves, who tries to accumulate for themselves position and prominence and possessions that then buys them a life of ease and comfort. No, don't lord your position over others. That's what the godless do. But you want to be great, you serve. You give yourself for others. It is contrary to the human nature. It's contrary to the spirit of the world. And the enemy mocks you as you live for something other than now. And it will be inside of you like it was inside of Jesus. Like there is a riot. Your soul's gonna go, don't you die to me. Your flesh is gonna say, don't you tell me no. But men are not boys. They don't just run after the first pretty little girl or butterfly and hop away from a place where they are to work. They stay there and they get busy. And they toil and they fertilize and they fence and they protect and they produce. They don't run off the recess constantly. And Jesus says, this ain't easy, but it's right. It's worth it. So what am I gonna do? Because it's tough. I love this statement. My soul's become troubled. And what shall I say? Daddy, get me out of this difficulty? No, I came for this moment. And he mans up like no other man has ever manned up. They took him on the middle of the busiest feast, as we've said, on the busiest day in the busiest city at the busiest hour, and they mocked him, and they betrayed him, and they left him, and they spit on him, and they nailed him to a tree and displayed him naked. And they said, King of the Jews. They whipped him upside the head, and they beat him, and they blindfolded him. They said, okay, prophet, who just hit you? And I've told you many times, I mean, that would have been one of those moments where I would have just gone, time out. I'd have whipped it off. I would have said it was you. And a lightning bolt would have come down and fried that little Roman centurion to a crisp and said, now, carry on, boys. All right? But he didn't do that because it wasn't his moment to be the lion. It was his moment to be the lamb because he was up to something great. What kind of man does that? What kind of man lets himself be falsely accused? Told he's things that he is not. Told he is weak when he is strong. Told that he mocks the Creator when he's the Creator himself. That ain't easy. He goes, but I came. Because in this, you're going to see what love looks like, you're going to see what strength looks like, and you're going to see what justice looks like. So tune in. He says this in John 12. He said, am I going to ask my daddy to skip this hour? No, I came for this hour. Father, glorify your name. Let's get it on. Sir, we would see Jesus. And watch closely.